Today we have a few sunflower fields to harvest, but we needed fuel for the harvester. And naturally, I had to spend $90,000 on a truck to be able to fill up the harvester. Now I know it sounds funny, but I wanted it. I wanted a truck. I was tired of driving around in tractors all the time. So we did spend $90,000 on this truck and $28,000 on the fuel trailer. But boy, we're gonna be able to get around a lot quicker when we're moving goods around. We'll probably end up getting an upgraded trailer long term, and I might get a gooseneck hookup in here as well, so we can get, the fifth wheel attachment. The roads are a little slick right now. We had a little bit of rain this morning, but we're gonna make our way to the co-op, get some fuel, and get instantly started on harvesting our big sunflower field here in October. Field 18 is ready. You can kind of see it in the background there. Looking good. But yep, like I said, first things first, we got to make sure we have some fuel. And it'll be nice to just have this around so we don't have to constantly drive all the way to the co-op just to fill up. And oh man, look at this view in cab. A little low. I wish we were sitting a little higher, but the interior of this looks great. Now $17,000 still in our account, and we did take out a little bit of the line of credit to be able to pay for the trailer. So I'm a little hesitant to completely fill this up, but we're gonna go through it eventually. And 3,700 liters of diesel costs us about $5,000, $4,600 to be exact. But we have plenty of capacity now to just, we'll utilize it. It's not gonna go to waste. It will be interesting to see how much I don't even know how much the harvester holds, so this could be way overkill, and I think it probably is. But like I said, I definitely wanted this around so that we didn't have to drive back and forth. We can just grab the truck, grab the trailer, bring it to the harvester or whichever tractor is low on fuel, and fill it up. I think it'll be a good process. And we should be able to just back up right here, get it all hooked up and filled up. And it looks like this does hold 1,250 liters. So a good amount of this will get gone through today, but that's all right. That should get us by until, gosh, at least harvesting the canola over here in the field back there. Well, all the canola fields, both of them. But yeah, these are definitely ready. Approximately 107,000 liters of sunflowers today we're going to be harvesting. Boy, you're doing your job there, Scarecrow. You scared me. All right, looks like it's done, and probably not best to leave the truck right there. Let's get it out of the way. And for now, I'll just park it right under here. And in the field, here we go. Little foggy this morning, but I think that will clear up with time as the day goes on. Harvester's doing a good job here. I talked about maintenance last episode. I don't think we quite need it yet. Definitely soon. I would be surprised if one of those sheds over there doesn't actually work as a what are they called? A workshop? But it may not. We may need to get a workshop of our own eventually, so we don't have to go to the dealership to get everything done. But man, the ground's looking soft here. We're digging into it pretty good. There was a rainstorm this morning, like I mentioned. So hopefully everything's processing good. And looking at the weather report, we have till about 2 o'clock, 1 or 2 before the next storm's gonna hit. So we got to use our time wisely here. In October, we're going to get through this one. We're going to want to instantly drop them off at the distribution center. We're not going to store the sunflowers in our old silo back there, the dryer. We're going to go right to the distribution unit so it can start distributing to the oil productions. And you can't even see them. There's so much fog right now. But yeah, you can kind of see it in the background now. But yes, so we'll get this going. I'm not sure if I'll do auto drive or do this all myself, but we might do a regular worker and hand over for the grain cart operation to me today. I think this will be our first time with the extension on the grain cart. So it should be pretty good. And boy, we're almost done with one headland, 70% full here. I am gonna pull over and head on over to the John Deere and get the grain cart. Though I think I'm gonna want to switch tractors on here just so we have a little bit more horsepower pulling the heavy grain cart around. And we'll see if there's enough room to do a little swapperoo right here. Should be fine. Got the JCB underneath cover as well as our new Case IH sprayer. Yeah, that works out pretty good. We'll be able to just pull this in and put it under cover now. Now, if we're cool, we can just back this all the way up and be perfect. And don't mind the fact that there's a tire missing on the harvester right now. It's there. You guys, your eyes are playing tricks on you. We go. You know, not the best, not the worst. But we pulled that off pretty well. All right, so we can leave that there for now, and most likely the next time we come around on the headland, we can unload it again. That'll help us out pretty much until we hand this over to a worker to finish it for us. But glad to see that this grain cart's gonna operate or work perfect for this operation here. And back at it, we'll finish both these headlands and then we'll hand over to a worker at that point. And we'll probably take the first load to the production yard, the distribution center, when we do that handoff. Now, I wanted to see if we had any information already on field 18, and I think we added this mod afterwards, so we should see the yield history show up here. I don't know when it does. Oh, there it is, starting to show up now. 21,000 so far. Pretty good, 22,000. So that is now starting to take place, and we'll be able to see our history over time on these fields. And the reason why that's going to be important is we are going to do a calculation today after harvesting these 3 fields and determine how many years we'd have to keep going to get to 1 million liters of sunflowers if we decided to stop production and just stockpile it, or shrinking the amount of years because we are, you know, finishing up year 5 right now. We would only have 4 more years to get the product ready. So the dollar amount, not the dollar amount, the liter amount is going to be pretty important today to see, is it time to just bust through 4 years of harvest, or do we need to get more fields still? So hoping by the end of today we know that answer for sunflower. And then when it comes time to harvesting canola, we're going to do the same song and dance for that and figure out how many more fields for those we need. We talked about it, I think, a couple episodes ago that these fields are going to be dedicated to the crop type moving forward. We're just ignoring crop rotation for this challenge. To be honest, it's not a very realistic challenge, so taking some things like crop rotation out of the equation seems to be, you know, what's going to need to be done. And while I was driving myself there, I'm going to clean up some of these edges so that the workers don't have to worry about it as much, and just make sure we don't miss anything. And we're just gonna head back over there, and I hope this doesn't mess up because I do plan on using the AI assist, the regular steering assist, and I hope it doesn't mess that up by cutting into these passes a little bit. But we might be at full capacity of this trailer already. Another reason I wanted to head back this way was to unload easier and swap out with our worker. Not hit the trailer. Don't hit the trailer. So now we can see that we have 39, almost 40,000 liters harvested already. Looking good. All right, officially handed over, and we're going to be in their way right away, aren't we? All right, we have 39,000 liters in here. We knew that was going to be the case, so let's go drop them off and see how everything is doing at the production yard. It's been a few months since we've been over there to check on the productions to make sure they still have goods. I wouldn't be surprised if we ran out of sunflower now that we do have that at level 2, the 1 oil production that we have. And this is, we'll get it back up to into production if it is empty right now. So it would be kind of nice if it's not. That means that we're definitely producing more sunflower than we can burn through in our productions, which is what we want to see. And that's really going to be the indicator that it's time to start expanding that part of the operation as well. We got a lot that we need that we talked about last episode about, you know, I think it's about $3.5 million still to spend on productions. But we don't want to buy those if they're just going to sit idle. Plenty of other things we could spend our money on. So we will go straight to the distribution center, and then we'll make sure it is distributing sunflowers so that it does go to the production. All right, so get that going, and we'll talk to the manager in here about that distribution. All right, so we do have all of the sunflowers in there, and I think it might have... Yeah, it looks like it did distribute them already. There's only 563 in there right now. Oh, where did they go? I think I know where they went. So canola is out. What? Oh, okay. We had some issues. What happened over here? The sunflowers, I think. Okay, first things first. We got to learn what we're doing here. So we want to go to make things work. We're going to do something here. We are going to, we know this is empty. We are going to sell it and get almost $200,000 back. We're done with trying. We're getting serious about the things we need to get serious about here. So now let's go back into the oil mill and we're going to turn off canola because that is definitely burnt through already. I'm going to attempt to reload all of these sunflowers. And I want to make sure this is working right, because I definitely want to make sure we're distributing and not... Oh, I don't have bulk loading. I'd make sure we're distributing it to the right place, and I don't want to always have to drop it off at an individual oil production. We only have one right now, so we're kind of learning the process when the time comes. Okay, we should have 39,000 liters in there now. Let's go ahead and do this so that they don't spawn anymore. So we've blocked our pallets from spawning. And really the key to this challenge is going to be that this distribution does evenly work. So we might get a second one here soon to test that out. Probably next year. Okay. So 39,000. It should be set correctly. So let's go ahead and get time rolling. And at 10 o'clock, we should see a decent amount of this disappear. So I'm just going to stare at this wall so I can see the number on the bottom right. It did not. Only a tiny amount. It has over 1,000 here. So, yeah, decent. I guess that'll be okay. So I think that's working all right. Let's go check on the harvester. They probably need unloaded at this point. That took a little bit more time than we anticipated, though I'm not sure what they're doing. Like what? They've got... They weren't supposed to do any headlands. Are they just like driving around here aimlessly? Let's double check this configuration. Work headlands off. Oh boy, that was lost production. So they get to a spot and they just stop. I just don't know what to think, guys. So we will do Courseplay instead. All right, they are getting going here finally. And it looks like this is where they're gonna start. We are gonna do lands. So it should allow us to free up the field and open it up pretty good here. And that's way too fast. Go about like that. All right, we can start unloading them. They don't really need it yet, but I do want to just, you know, enjoy the process. All right, I think while we let them do some work, we are going to take the, yes, I want the 8R. We're gonna grab everything we have remaining from the other property and get it over here. Oh, we've come so far since we used this old cultivator. Could get a little bit of cash for it, but I don't think that's necessary. Now, even if the tractor can't fit, I think we can sneak this cultivator in here. Oh, the tractor can fit in this one. Oh, good. This one's more useful than I thought. Perfect. That's a great spot for it. And the spreader, we don't have any goods sitting around, so that's good. We have a little bit of seed there. I mean, we're moving in. It took us some time, but we're getting there. That one's put away. Now, these other ones, since we do have plumbing installed in the greenhouse, we don't need either of these other trailers over here. They can do water, and one of them can do propane. So I think we're probably just going to sell those. So this should be one of the last things we need. But we're going to do it the old dirty way. We're going to sell it in here, 3,400 for that one. And then the bigger tank should bring in a little bit more cash. Yeah, 15,000. Okay. We can also, while we're thinking about it, go ahead and sell our tents, get 200 bucks for that. And our shed here is going to bring in 4,300. Nice. Okay. So now we're going to need to come back for a little bit of seed and the pressure washer. Then we're going to return this field into its former glory. Well, this is an interesting dilemma, but we'll go ahead and put that like that. And then this we'll be able to put in here. I wanted to, you know, be smooth about this, but I guess that didn't happen. Seems like the bed of that truck isn't quite configured correctly. And we'll just back up in the driveway. Oh, it looks pretty here besides that. So now it's time to make this look a little bit better. Okay, now that it's somewhat smoothed out, we should... Well, that looks terrible. That's still crazy over here. Okay, that feels a little bit better. We're going to go into easy dev controls. We're going to go to the field one. We're going to select ground, and we're just going to hit confirm. Oh, maybe we need to change this. Is this not going to work? It's not going to transform it back? Let's try this way. Ground type, we'll do stubble. There we go. Okay, that did it. So now when we hop into the sky here, we can see the original field is back now. And we're going to go in here, and we're going to sell. It's only $37,000, but we'll take it. We'll take it. And I do not understand what they're doing on this course. I set it up for multiple vehicles. Okay. So we'll have to do the right side next time. So they're going to do half of the harvest right now, and then the other half when we restart it. Not too bad. I think I set it to two tools, 2 vehicles instead of 2 headlands. Oh, they're coming right at us. Back up for you. Where are you going? Taking this personal at this point. And of course, they're in the middle of one when we go to come unload them. So we'll follow them to the other side of the field now. And once they turn around, we'll be able to unload them. Never a dull moment on the channel, guys. We got this. And what are they... We never gonna see the right... I don't understand the render issue with this. All of a sudden. Anyways, they're going up the middle again. So I don't know... I don't know. Well, I got them unloaded, and being patient with my mistake of Courseplay, I am going to go unload this and let them kind of just finish the right side. I think they have enough capacity to, or finish the left side, and then we'll get the right side going. And gosh, that rendering issue of the back tires, I might swap out that harvester. Let me know what you guys think. And before I dump this, I do want to see how the distribution's been going. Okay, 35,000 here, and we do have 2,300 over here, so it is moving enough every time it distributes to keep the process alive. Now, if we upgrade those to level 6 or so, will it still? I don't know. So long term, our source of truth for whether or not we have capacity is going to be the distribution center, not the productions, because they're just going to have what they have, not the full amount that they could have. And officially back at it here. Going a little bit too quick for them there, but we'll get lined up here. Get them unloaded. And it kind of ruined my plan. I was going to start mulching, but we'll have to hold off on that until November at this point. But overall, should be a pretty good yield. We'll see how close we get to that 100,000 liter mark that we saw before at the beginning of the episode. But I will rejoin you when the harvest is complete. Well, good morning, November. We are starting the next harvest already, and I just wanted to come over here and check on the production while we had a chance. 36,000 liters over here. It is absolutely distributing the way we need it to. And checking out what we have in stock over here is still 59,000 sunflowers. We have 31,000 sunflower oil, almost 50,000 canola oil, and 236,000 lettuce. And last thing before we get to the next harvest, we did get 111,000 liters out of field number 18, and we have started the harvest on field 21. Best year, yeah, we'll see how it compares. But let's head on over there. We need to get in the grain cart because we do have the harvester already going, and I will also probably be making a call here to get a worker going on mulching the big field we just harvested last month. Fog is thick this morning, but I think we'll get by. We're gonna park over here by the co-op so that we can get in the JCB to get going with the harvest and help them out, but I don't think we might have a little bit of time before we need to do that. Let's see. 28,000 is the expected harvest. We should be able to handle that without a grain cart operator. I am gonna head home and get the 7 or the 8R going on the mulching. And then we can return over here, empty the harvester, and help them get across the streets. Because the last field we need to harvest is field 6. And boy, we are dangerously close to the end of year 5. That dang scarecrow, it gets me every time. All right, so we need to find our big boy tractor, get it on the mulcher and get that rolling. I don't see it there. I think it's back. Oh no, that's the... We're gonna do this live. We're gonna try to find it. That's the smaller John Deere is back in the... Well, let's just look. Already getting too many different areas to look for goods. Look for our equipment. It's confusing me. Yeah, that's gonna be the smaller one, right? Yeah, the 6R. Oh, well, where did we put the 8R at? Probably becoming super obvious that this is the second part of a recording session, or the second recording session. I have no clue. I was trying to avoid tabbing, guys. Oh, look at that. We put it away. Now we'll just back up, get hooked up to the mulcher, get them rolling, and hopefully that other harvest doesn't take too long. That's a small field compared to the one we just did. And we're going to look at that total. I have a feeling we're going to be under 200,000, which gets me roughly close to what I'd be comfortable with, but I think we need one more decent size sunflower field. All right, we're going to trust a regular worker here to see how they do. Get it done. Oh, we started on ups and downs. That's why. Ah, that's my mistake. Ooh, we'll let them continue on their way. And we want to come to our line of credit and make a sizable payment. We are going to do 200,000 right now. And that'll bring our balance down to 254,000, which we will absolutely be paying off very soon. You know, really once the next good is at a good price, which according to Time Saving Stock Check, it's canola oil. And canola oil is close to its peak right now. Technically above the peak price. I think that means we're gonna, take a little break here, grab the trailer, and it absolutely gives us something to do while we're waiting for that harvest to get done. Love the multitasking. And we're gonna find out if we can pull off just getting the canola oil out, because my distributing trick did not work. So I think there's another mod that we could enable and download and enable to help us with that. I did get a comment about that. I haven't looked into it yet. But if we have to put a little bit of sunflowers back in, we'll deal with that when it happens, if it happens here. Okay. Let's see if we can do this right. I think we're going to get a bunch of sunflowers, though. So we want to come in here and let's look at what we have things as. Lettuce is distributing, so it won't come out. We know that. We've seen that. Yeah, I mean, everything else is set up the way it should be. So I think we're just misunderstanding this. So let's get the canola oil set to storing. And just kind of deal with the sunflowers if they come out. And I will use, I mean, it's going to be 59 pallets. I guess we'll just use auto load to take care of that if it becomes an issue here. All right, we're going to pull forward just in case. It looks like, I'm wondering if we just switched that to distributing too late last time and weren't paying attention. But we got all the canola oil we have, at least the full pallets. So we'll go get those sold this morning. All right, anybody using this combo, you got to drive super slow and not tip it. I just had the most fun time fixing this issue when it tipped over right now. A little too much torque in this truck for me, I think. Okay, finally making it over here. And we just brought in another basically $286,000. And we're going to get out of debt again. Feels good. We are going to park over here. They're getting dangerously close, I believe, to doing the headlands over here. Honestly, I'm not really sure what they're doing right now. But let's pay off that line of credit. Let's go ahead and make another payment here. We will pay in full, and it feels good to be out of debt again and still have $93,000. And while we're thinking about it, anything good on the used market here that we could use? Not really. And you know, sometimes you just try to trust automation, but have a hard time when it's going the way it's been going today for me. This field should not have been set up with lands, and I should have done headlands first. But that's all right. We'll go ahead and get it done now. Oh, we're absolutely going to need the grain cart. I was thinking about the grain cart's capacity, not the harvester. So I don't think we'll get back to the end. So we're going to have to do a little bit of unloading in the crops here, but maybe we won't. Maybe we'll avoid it. No one wants to see that. Oh, maybe we'll get to this little opening right here. Yeah, let's do that. We'll make a left turn here. And then we'll be able to get right back into the field. There we go. All right, that's all unloaded. We can get back at it, I think. I think we can. All right, that was the messiest harvest I've ever done. Like, ever. I think my first harvest on Elms Creek was cleaner than that. Oh my goodness. And then I shut the harvester off. We're struggling tonight. We're getting this unloaded though. Let's take a look at the report. See how we did this year on this harvest. And we are on field 6. No. What field are we on, guys? 21. Hey, a little increase. We got 2,000 more this year. I don't know how that happened, but we will take it. Well, that was a nice surprise. 29,000 is way more, you know, 2,000 more. That's awesome. That's going to give us a whole extra 1,000 liters of oil, which in turn is like, what, 5 grand, I think, with the sunflower oil. So that's pretty awesome. Maybe a little less than that, but looking on the bright side, we are going to give this a 3rd shot at Courseplay today. And we're going to do it real slow here. So we're going to kill that last one. We're going to open this up, and we're going to go 1 tool, 1 headland on this field. And we will do lands, and we'll go ahead and generate it. But I also want to, we need to change this to start work on headland and start job. And over here, regular worker. It's been at it for a while. And I'm failing to see it. So they started with the headland, okay. So they're done with the headlands. All right, so we thought they'd be done with a lot more than that by now. So we had a little left over in the grain cart from the last harvest, so we do see 30,000 here. But we'll get that dropped off as well and help finish this last harvest. Seems like they're already on their merry way and going. Love to see it. All right, this is working lovely, guys. I love this distribution. All right, dropping the goods off. Now we're heading back. And I don't know if we did sunflowers here yet. All right, some sense of normal here. We are unloading for the first time here on field 6. And doing lands is working absolutely great. We did 1 headland to get them around. They seem to be doing pretty good avoiding trees and bushes when they're doing their turns. So all is good. But we're going a little faster than them up that hill. Yep. Pretty nice. I didn't look at the expected yield here. I think we will take a look at the old data. If we did sunflowers last time, I don't think we did in this field, but we'll double check after this pass. So we kind of know what to expect and have a little target that we're hoping to hit. All right, we should be good yielding right here. And now over to the checker here, or the tracker. 17,000 doesn't feel... That's this year. Okay, so we did not do it last year. I think we do have some data on corn. Yeah, 101,000 liters of corn. I imagine we're going to get a lot less sunflowers than we did corn, but it'll be nice to see the difference. And yeah, that rendering issue, boy, we're going to have to look for a replacement, I think. And we're fairly close over here and have 35,000. I think the harvester is going to be able to finish without us unloading it again. So yeah, the yield on sunflowers is tiny compared to corn, it seems. You can see what we have left. So we're going to drop this off and come back, and hopefully they'll be close to being done and we can unload them. Can't wait to get to the canola harvest and get the data for that. But yeah, we're super close to looking at the totals for the 3 fields and building a game plan. Because come spring, we're going to want to get these replanted and whatever amount of fields we want to purchase as well. to add to it, we want those planted as well. So we got plenty in capacity over here still. A lot to distribute over there. It's where I have a feeling if we did the math on all this, that production is not going to burn through it, and that's okay. We can start building the stockpile now. It's never too early to start building that extra inventory towards 1 million sunflowers. All right, we are unloading the harvester here for the last time of the sunflower harvest. Our field data should be up to date, 34,000. So while we're driving in, let's talk a little bit about the data here. We have 175,377 liters of sunflowers that we harvested. Pretty much want to double that number. So we're gonna take a look at some fields, and we're gonna look at the acreage that we have in these fields, figure out what that is, and then that should help us determine if there is a field that we can purchase or if it's multiple. But that'll definitely help us with the game plan. So the fields in play are 18, 6, and 21. So 18 is gonna be well, that just shows size. Let's visit it. We're gonna have to do some math here. So we have 26.13 acres. In 6, we have 10.58 acres. In 21, we have 6.92 for a total of 17.5. Is that right? What happened there? 17.5 plus 26.13. So we have 43 acres. So 5 would not quite do it, but 5 and 17 are going to get us really close. So I think that might be the game plan here. So that's 310 plus another 100. So about $410,000 in fields just for our sunflowers. And I think after we sell the lettuce, let's check time saving stock check. Yeah, we'll definitely have enough after selling the lettuce, but boy, oh boy, eventful day here. We have a plan right now for sunflowers. We have 18, 6, and 21, and I think we're going to buy 17 and 5 to add to that. And then probably next, well, a couple episodes from now, we'll get to these 2 canola harvests and figure out the gap there. I'm hoping the gap there is a little less because it yields better, but we will find out. This is going to conclude year 5 of the oil challenge. We're halfway there. Let's see if we can pull it off in 5 more years or less. I'm SocksWayUp. Thanks for hanging out. I will catch you on the next episode.